While I was watching this film, I had a realization. I thought some things that are painted in a bad light in this world, they might not have been originally made out to be a bad thing. Like the inventors or the creators of some things, they might have meant it for good. But other humans that did not know what it was about, that did not have the same idea or the understanding of what something was created for, they just turned it into a bad thing. All of a sudden, something that was meant for good has just turned to a bad thing. And that's how I felt while I was watching this film, because the bike riders that I've seen in American films, the way they portray them as this bad thing, as these people that are unscrupulous and do some bad things. But watching this film, it just made me see that this was not what it was meant to be. This was just something that was fun, that was a good thing that some people created, that was just turned into a terrible thing by some other people that don't understand the idea behind it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this video, I want to talk about the bike riders. This film follows the story of a group of bike riders that have a bike riding club, and how the club evolves from something good to something that they did not even see it becoming. And that is basically how I understood this movie to be. And this film, I have to say, it's not a film that blew me away. I mean, there are a lot of things that I went try to see. There are some things that I saw in this film that I really loved, like the use of music, the soundtrack. The soundtrack of this film is incredible. Like you listen to this song, and all of a sudden, you just feel like becoming an outlaw. The song just captures the essence of this film, the lawlessness of this film, and all those guys just they are like rebels without a cause. And the soundtrack just added to that feeling of it so much. The soundtrack in this film was so good. Like most of the songs, it's not even most of the song, all of the songs I've never heard them before. But when I heard how they used them in this film, it just made me appreciate the music so much. Another thing I loved about this film was the performances. This film stars actors like Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer, Michael Shannon, Norman Reedus, and some other actors. And all these actors, they have something with their character that just makes them feel like their own character. Even though they all had similarities, but they still felt like their own people. And the performances from these actors just elevated the characters to a much greater level. Me saying the performances elevated the characters doesn't mean I love the characters, because the characters were characters that I honestly didn't care for much. Don't get me wrong, the performances from the actors were brilliant, but I just could not connect to the characters. And when some things happened to some of the characters, I honestly didn't care, because the writers or the storytellers have not done enough with the characters to make me care for them and make me just want to see good things happen to them. So when some bad things happen to some of the characters, I honestly didn't care, and the story just went on to me. So that's one of the issues that I had with this film, because I feel like the story does not develop these characters in a way that just makes me care for them so much. Even Jodie Comer's character, that is kind of like the main character, the character that will see this world through her eyes, I didn't really care much for her. I loved seeing her. I loved the way she talked, because she had this interesting accent that she used, and she's an English woman. But seeing her use this accent was something that I appreciated with her performance. But at the same time, I didn't care much for her character, and that's how I felt about the other characters. When this film first started, something happened in this film. There was like a freeze frame moment, and that moment just took me back to Martin Scorsese's films, and films like Goodfellas and Casino. I don't think the director was going for something like that, but I couldn't help but draw a parallel between that moment and Martin Scorsese's films, and it was just something that just hooked me with the way the film started, because that moment felt so much like it was from a Martin Scorsese film, and it was something that just got me excited to get into this film. As the film went by, the director became his own person. The director knew what he wanted to do, and the film took on its own identity apart from what it reminded me of. But that moment in the beginning just pulled me into the film, and was just something that excited me to see what comes next. Another thing that made me respect this film, I did not love the film, but I respected the idea and the creation of it. And what made me respect it is the love the director has for this film. You can see that this film is made by someone that loves bike riders and the culture of these bike riders. Like it's almost like a love letter, even though it exhibits or it shows some kind of things that are less than pleasant. But you can tell that the director was someone that appreciates this culture and loves it so much because of the way the bikes are designed. Seeing the bikes, seeing the culture surrounding it, even the way the bikes sound is just something that just makes you feel like, yes, this guy really loves this thing. And it's something that just made me respect this film so much. Like I said, it's not a story that blew me away, because I feel like the story could have been so much better. It felt like just an okay story. It's not like a story that I felt like it had something it was trying to tell you. It was just telling a story that almost did not have a point, and that was something that just I did not feel with the story. I felt like the story was just kind of lackluster. It's not like it was bad, but it was just okay and nothing more. And that was something that just made me enjoy this film less than I should have enjoyed it. Another issue I had with this film was the way time passed in this film. It felt like everything that happened in the span of a few months. But the story lets us know that it is a story that takes place over a span of years. But the way it was filmed and it was shot, it just felt like it was in a few months. Like sometimes you see something happen like years ago, then you see another thing happen, and you think, wait, are these things happening in the same time? So it was something that just confused me. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but that was basically how I felt because the film confused me with the time frame of it and the way it explored the time of all these events happening. So it was something that just confused me and made me feel like, come on, what's going on? Did this happen before this, or did this just not happen? Like that, it was just a very, very confusing thing for me. And I wish the time period of it had been explored so much better and less confusing. Overall, this film was not bad, it was not terrible, but it could have been so much better. The way it explored the characters could have been done much better, that have made me care for the characters so much. The storyline of it could have been done better. The music was outstanding, like I said, but other things that could have made this film great did not just add up and didn't make this film as sad as it could have been. And that was something that just let me down. So have you seen the Bike Riders? What do you think about it? Comment below and let me know. If this is your first time on my channel, please subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.